Peggy Kraus for Erasing Diabetes, and it is the holiday season. And with the holiday season come extra additional things to do, parties to go to, gifts to buy, finances to juggle. It can be stressful. You know, not everybody is stressed around the holidays, but I think a good amount of us are. So let's talk a little bit about that. So let's talk about stress and what it is and what it does. So think about when we lived in the wild, okay? When our stresses were a lot different back then. When we lived in the wild, our stress was mostly trying to stay alive, right? We were running from hungry animals. And in order to stay alive, we had to run from them. We had to either fight or flee, but for either one of those, our heart rate would go up, our blood pressure would become elevated, our blood would clot more easily, our breathing became more shallow and more labored. All those things would help us to survive if we were injured in fleeing or in fighting, and they were protective. They were protective body responses. But if you fast forward millions of years, we're not running from hungry animals anymore. We might be dealing with bosses that are difficult. We might have a situation at home where we're either caring for elderly parents or maybe for a difficult child or an injured or sick child. There are lots of things that can be stressful for us, and those can be even more damaging because they go on for a longer period of time. So stress can be either short term or long term. Let's talk about that. So if you pick up a glass of water, you pick it up for 5 minutes and you put it down again, not a big deal. You pick it up for a couple hours, well, yeah, you're gonna get tired, but you can put it back down. You know, think about when you have an elderly parent and and you're caring for the elderly parent. You're holding that glass of water, not just for weeks and months, maybe for years. And that can be exhausting. You know, think about holding something for years. So while one can be productive stress, preparing a presentation for a meeting, you know, maybe a couple hours, maybe a week it's going to take you to prepare that. You know, that could be productive because the stress levels, the higher hormone, cortisol, increased alertness, those can help you to prepare for that presentation. But when you're dealing with something that lasts for years, to have that elevated heart rate, blood sugar, blood pressure, clotting sequence going on, that's damaging to the body. So I want you to try to keep those stress levels down as best you can. Here's what you're going to do. Breathe. When something is stressful for you, take a step back and breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good way to deliver more oxygen to your body, right? Step away, lower the cortisol level, which is raising your blood glucose. You can also do something, a meditation. You can do a guided meditation. There are lots of apps you can download for your phone that will guide you through meditation. You can do something as easy as, I call it Take 5. So on your hand, with your index finger down here at the bottom of your palm, you're going to slide up a finger and back down, and slide up a finger and back down. And what you can do is you're going to breathe. You're going to first breathe in and then breathe out. So it'll look something like this. And you can continue that for your other fingers. And that'll just give you some time. Remove yourself from the situation, reduce that cortisol level, which will reduce the blood glucose, the blood pressure, and all those things that we talked about. Here's one that I really like. Touch. Touch has been proven to lower all those things that I talked about, especially blood glucose. So there are some nerve endings that are particularly connected with the emotional response. And they run up your back to your shoulders. So by touching somebody on the back or on the shoulders, because of that emotional response and that closer link with the cortisol response in our bodies, it can really be effective for lowering blood glucose. We know that the speed of touch, 3 to 5 centimeters per second, that speed is especially effective for lowering the cortisol response and blood pressure and blood glucose. So pat somebody on the back, pat somebody on the shoulder, like, hey, good job, or yeah, tough day, but you can get through it, because it helps to lower their cortisol level and blood sugar. It helps to lower yours too. By just being the giver of that, it helps to lower your blood glucose as well. Best yet, give somebody a hug, because not only are you giving the touch, but you are receiving the touch as well. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you can manage your stress throughout the rest of the holiday season, and I will catch you in the next video. Happy holidays.